Hello, and welcome to Congress Watch. Uh, so, kind of putting this together for watching what's going on the federal level. Uh, I use this. I'm going to be using this website, the official Congress website. Uh, so, start with the House. So today, on Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. This is the activities. Uh, Probably won't go over too much of that. But we'll go over the bills that were and the votes. So, guess start with this top one. And I guess I won't. Does not have a page yet. So, yeah. So, House Resolution 1968, full year of continuing appropriations in Extensions Act. This was also voted on today under roll call 69 and 70. 69 it failed, but 70 it passed. So, 216 Republicans voted for it, one did not. Democrats, one voted for, 120, 212 did not. One of each not voting. Independents, nothing. So that's why that one passed. But the first time, Democrats voted for it and Republicans did not. So it looks like there was an amendment or something to it. Does it actions? Was introduced to the House yesterday, referred to the committee. Well, let's grab the text, get a PDF of it, and using ChatGPT, just ask for, I think I already did that one, but summarize this document. Just to make it a little bit easier. So, search it. Introduced yesterday by Tom Cool. Continuing appropriations for federal agencies for this fiscal year. Continuing resolution expires tomorrow. Oh, not tomorrow, on the 14th. Extensions for several programs, public health programs, Medicare provisions, human services, and Medicaid. Has been referred to the House Committee's Appropriations and Budget for further consideration. So that one looks like it did go through with House Joint Resolution 2025, providing for the congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 of U.S. Code of the rule submitted to the Internal Revenue Service. Gross proceedings, regular. So this one was introduced. Both were introduced. Let's see what this one is. Cannot spell. Definitely cannot spell. introduced on January 2020 by Representative Mike Carey, nullify the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS rule question mandates that brokers facilitate digital assets, reporting gross proceedings, refer to. I am not doing this correctly. I will definitely have to get better at this. If enacted, the resolution would render the IRS rule ineffective, thereby eliminating the requirement for brokers to report gross proceedings on digital asset transactions as specified in December 2024 regulation. So, rolling back some of the IRS. And that one looks like it did pass. Mainly Republicans and some of the Democrats voted yes. I'll go back a little bit. House Resolution or House Res 1211 or sorry 211. Could not find that. Looks like it has been uploaded. House Resolution 1156, Pandemic Unemployment Fraud Enforcement Act. Give me a PDF of that again. We'll put that one into. Nope, not that. Put that into ChatGPT. If I can ever spell. So it'll do the thing. Was introduced to House of Representatives on February 10th, 2025 by Representative Jason Smith and 24 co-sponsors. The bill proposes amending the CARES Act to eliminate the statute of limitations to 10 years for criminal prosecutions and civil enforcement actions related to fraud under certain pandemic-related unemployment programs. Specifically, this extension applies to violations concerning unemployment compensation claims funded by Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, and Mixed Earner Unemployment Compensation. So, if enacted, this regulation would provide federal authorities with an extended time frame to prosecute and enforce actions against individuals who committed fraud under specific pandemic unemployment programs, thereby enhancing efforts to recover improperly obtained funds. So, looks like that one did pass. And Republicans, all but one Republican voted for it. All but two voted for it. All but one Democrat voted against it due to one Republican and one Democrat not voting, passing it by 2 votes. So, along party lines. Now, the PATS Act. So, let's look at this one. So, this is just a bill that was, I believe, introduced. Latest action. Motion to consider is with this act. Yeah. So, motion to consider the PATS Act. And yes, I did get it right here. Let's get a quick summary of that. Summarize. I believe I can just say summarize that, and it should bring it up. Producing Advanced Technologies for Homeland Security Act, or PATHS Act, introduced on February 27th, 2025 by Representative Michael Guest with Representative Shiri Thandar as co-sponsor. The bill proposes amendments to the Homeland Security Act of 2002 to enhance the Department of Homeland Security's ability to acquire and implement secure and trustworthy technology. So, extensions to other transit authority. The bill extends the DHS's authority to engage in other agreements for research and development projects until September 30th, 2023. Flexibility in contracting, allowing DHS to collaborate more efficiently with non-traditional contractors and rapidly integrate innovative technologies. Nullifying the requirement for artificial intelligence projects, the bill mandates DHS must notify specific congressional committees within 72 hours after utilizing OTA for projects involving artificial technology. This notification must include a briefing explaining the rationale for using such extended authority. And reduction of covered contract award threshold. The bill reduces the threshold for certain covered contract awards from $4 million to $1 million, aiming to increase the oversight and ensure an appropriate use of funds in smaller contracts. So it's been referred to the Committee on Homeland Security and it's waiting further action. If enacted, the PATHS Act would enhance DHS's ability to swiftly adopt advanced technologies, particularly in artificial intelligence, while maintaining congressional oversight and ensuring these technologies are secure and trustworthy. And then there's the House Resolution 706 was motion to consider laid on the table or agreed to without objection. So this one, the DHS Biodetection Improvement Act. PDF version. Only currently introduced. But so it will summarize this one for us. The DHS Biodetection Improvement Act was introduced to the House of Representatives on February 23, 2025, by Representative Dale W. Strong with Representative Clay Higgins as co-sponsor. The bill aims to enhance the Department of Homeland Security biodetection abilities by mandating an assessment of DHS utilization of the Department of Energy national laboratories and sites for research and development related to its missions. Within 180 days of the enactment, the DHS would require to submit both assessment and strategy to relevant congressional committees, detailing how DHS would coordinate with the Department of Energy national laboratories and sites to address biodetection and government needs. Strategy must include identifying of biodetection technologies that can meet the mission, development and acquisition of particular plans to provide these technologies to existing BioWatch jurisdictions in compliance with the federal laws and directives, periodic external evaluations to identify gaps and potential future points in these technologies, along with contingency plans if they do not perform as intended, assisting with developing program and technological requirements for future DHS environmental and biodetection programs. As of March 10th, was considered under sus- suspension of the rules in the House, and with 40 minutes of debate concluded, the vote was postponed due to lack of a quorum. Further proceedings are pending. If enacted, this legislation would strengthen the DHS's biodetection functions through strategic collaboration with the Department of Energy, national laboratories, and sites, aiming to improve national preparedness against biological threats. So I'll close those ones out. So that looks like that's what the House did today. You could look at individual timeline, but let's look at what the Senate did. So they did 4 things. One of them agreed to on the motion and to invoke closure. Stephen Bradbury as Deputy Secretary of Transportation. On the nomination confirmation, Stephen Bradbury of VA to Deputy Secretary of Transportation. And Abigail Slater of DC to be Assistant Attorney General. Looks like they agreed and confirmed. Stephen Bradbury was 51 to 46. And Abigail Slater was 78 to 19, looks like. I don't know if it breaks it down as good as the House. Yeah, it doesn't do it by very well. So that's any bills and laws. Does not look like it. That I can kind of see. Yeah, just 4 voting records were taken as of today. So that looks like everything. Let me check one thing. The White House. So I know on here they do, I believe, have administration. No, but they had the executive actions. So nominations sent to the Senate. So President Trump sent Richard Anderson of Virginia to be Assistant Secretary of the Air Force. John Ringo of Florida to be Ambassador Extraordinary, Ambassador to Portugal. Thomas Barak as Ambassador to Turkey. John Bartram as Assistant Secretary of Veteran Affairs. Brian Birch as Ambassador to the Holy See or the Vatican. Leo Brent Bozell III to be the Chief Executive Officer of the United States Agency for Global Media. Jonathan Brightbill as General Counsel of the Department of Energy. Michael Cadenazi as Assistant Secretary of Defense. Leah Campos as Ambassador to the Dominican Republic. Hung Kao, Under Secretary of the Navy. Terrence Cole as Administrator of Drug Enforcement. Paul Dabber as Deputy Secretary of Commerce. Patrick David Davis, nice name, as Assistant Attorney General. Janet Dillon as Director of Pension Benefit Gantry Corporation for 5 years. Joseph Edlow as Director of the United States Citizenship and Immigration, Department of Homeland Security. John Andrew Eisenberg as Assistant Attorney General. Somers Farkas as Ambassador to Malta. Tillman Fertitta as Ambassador to Italy and San Marino. Robert Glenson as Director of the Amtrak Board of Directors. Andrew Hughes as Deputy Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Catherine Juriza as Assistant Secretary of Energy. Jovan Jovanich as President of the Export-Import Bank of the United States, term expiring January 20th of 2029. Brandon Jude as Ambassador to Chile. Ethan Klein as Assistant Director to the Office of Science and Technology Policy. Matthew Kuzma to be Under the Secretary for Intelligence and Analysis, Department of Homeland Security. Harry Coomer as Assistant Secretary of Commerce. Aaron Lucas as Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence. Edward Martin to be the United States Attorney for District of Columbia. These are a lot of people. Sharon Madison as Assistant Secretary of Veteran Affairs. Office of Accountability and Whistleblower Protection. Nicole McGraw as Ambassador to Croatia. Sheen McMaster as Administrator of the Federal Highway Administration. David Metcalf as Attorney for Eastern District of Pennsylvania for 4 years. Joseph Nocolia as Attorney for Eastern District of New York for 4 years. Shane O'Keefe to be Deputy Under Secretary of Defense. Michael, I think. Obadal to be Under the Secretary of the Army. Several Oz to be Assistant Secretary of Transportation. James Purvell as General Counsel, Department of Homeland Security. Sheen Planky as Director of Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, Andrew Polster as a representative to the European Union, Jason Red Redding Cuentes, I think, as attorney for Southern District of Florida, Leonardo Rizzuto as the permanent representative of the United States to the Organization of American States as a rank of an ambassador. These names: Glad Yakis as Director of United States Marshal Service, Brett Shumate as Assistant Attorney General, John Squires under Secretary of Commerce for Intellectual Property and Director of United States Patent and Trademark Office, George Wesley Street as Director of National Counterintelligence and Security Center, Eric Matthew Euland as the Deputy Director of Management and Office of Management and Budget, Andrew Verpick as Assistant Secretary of State, Timothy John Walsh as Assistant Secretary of Energy, David Wool as General Counsel of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and Daniel Zimmerman as Assistant Secretary of Defense. So that was one of the presidential actions. The other, ensuring the enforcement of Federal Rule of Civil Procedures 65C. So in recent weeks, activists organizing, it looks, I will ask for a, where did I, summarize this. So it's going to summarize it for me. Issued a memorandum declaring federal agencies to enforce Rule of Civil Procedure 65C. This rule mandates that parties seeking preliminary injunctions or temporary restraining orders against the federal government provide security to cover potential costs and damages of injunctions is later deemed wrongful. The memorandum aims to deter litigation, protecting taxpayer frauds, and ensure effective administration of justice by holding litigants accountable for unwarranted injunctions. By enforcing the rule, the administration seeks to deter activist groups from filing meritless lawsuits for fundraising or political purposes, which can delay government policies and burden taxpayers with unnecessary costs. The memorandum emphasizes the consistent enforcement of this rule is crucial to ensuring that taxpayers do not bear the costs of wrongly issued preliminary relief and achieving the effective administration of justice. This reflects Trump's commitment to protecting the democratic process, challenging judicial overreach, and upholding the rule of law. By holding litigants accountable for baseless injunctions, and the administration aims to safeguard taxpayer funds and maintain the integrity of the justice system. So, looks like that is all that kind of happened today. If anything happens tomorrow, I will be uploading another. So, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.